Hello, this is Eyal Levi with URM Academy and Nail the Mix, and I am about to unbox I'd Rather See Your Star Explode by Slaves, which is appearing on Nail the Mix in December 2019 and was originally mixed and produced by none other than Erik Ron. So, as per usual, I'm going to show you that there are no plugins on this. Very basic leveling. And I'll play you faders up.
Give me when I'm down, keep me on the ground. From the ones who I thought they would never leave, who gave you so much faith, who gave you.
And those vocals sound great. All right, let's see what we've got. We've got drums. Looks like pretty standard setup. Kick, snare. 2 toms. Hat ride, china overhead rooms. We've got 3 bass tracks, a DI, an amp, and a distortion. Left and right rhythms along with the DIs. We've got some, looks like some texture and lead guitars, also with DIs provided. We've got Mr. Jonny Craig's vocals right here. Some leads, overdubs, filter vocals, harmonies. And we've got these effects tracks, looks like with some loops or samples or both, and some synths, a trap kick and hat, filtered drums, some pads. All right, decent amount of tracks. Let's get into it. These are the drums. Nice and solid. Good, simple parts, big, solid sounds. This is, this is yours to mess up. This is a great, great foundation for a huge drum sound. So we got a kick in, Erik Ron's kick sample, and a kick out. That kick out actually provides a lot of low end. So obviously the whole gunshot type thing that you hear is the sample, but that snare top really, it provides a good pitch and good realism to that snare. Obviously the high production comes from that sample that I believe Erik made. All right, let's hear the overheads. Good separation on these overheads. And also, I like the way the snare sounds in them. That'll help get a good snare sound out of this. The toms already appear to be cut. Thank you, Erik. And let's hear the toms, snare, kick, and overheads. Just the basic elements. Everything sounds very big. I think that on this hi-hat part, this is probably why we've got a hi-hat mic. Well, not a hi-hat part, sorry. That's the hi-hat part. Let's hear what's going on with this room. A lot of nastiness in a good way. A lot of attitude. Sounds like it's already compressed and exactly what Erik Ron wanted. And you can use this to get good attitude in these drums. Let's hear the drums without the room, and then we'll slowly blend it in. Notice how just it makes things sound more explosive. Gives more length. Just helps the feel out. More glue. I'll play with or without. That is a really good room. It's not that it sounds lifeless without it, but that room mic really adds so much energy and explosiveness to it. It's great. See, this is the opposite of a lot of sessions I see. Sometimes you get these sessions where there's like 5 sets of rooms where only 2 were intended to be used, and so it's up to you to decide what the perfect blend is. But this is a session where you're only given 1 room mic, but its use is really, really obvious. All right, let's check that bass. DI and an amp and a distortion. Let's hear them all together first. I love that kind of bass tone. I don't know why you would mess with that, but in case you want to hear the elements, the DI. Amp. Looks like you can get a little more definition out of this amp. And then this distortion. I love that meat grinder sound. Let's hear just bass and drums together. That distortion makes a big difference. But this is a perfect example of how blended bass tones are done. There's times where also you get multiple bass tracks and it's anybody's guess how they're supposed to work together. But in this case, if you remove any one of these, it upsets the balance. It makes perfect sense, at least to me, how the 3 of these tracks are meant to work together. Here what we got guitar wise. Main guitar left and right, so we've got 2 rhythms. Another big sounding band. Those guitars sound great. Your mission is going to be to make sure that they still sound huge, but don't swallow everything, because you still got a lot to add on top of this. And what is this tapping guitar? I see. All right. Verse guitar. More of this tapping stuff. So we got cool cleans, atmospheric. We've got interesting lead guitars. We've got this bridge lead. See what that's all about. Well, actually, this is it. I like that Erik left the effects in, because sometimes these effects are very, very specific to the production and are exactly what the artist and producer had in mind. And there's no sense in trying to reinvent that wheel. I mean, if this is exactly what they wanted, then that's the way it should be. I'm sure they worked a long time on these sounds to make them the way they wanted. And some people might say, well, then, isn't that pre-mixed? No, it's not pre-mixed. That's called production. You still need to find a way to make all these tracks work together. Reminds me of Radiohead. So a lot of different elements in this song, and we haven't even gotten to the vocals yet. And if you're not familiar with this vocalist, this guy is a star vocalist. He has one of the best, most recognizable voices in rock. And so it's got to be front and center. But there's lots of details in the production too. So we have to make sure to bring out all those details while providing a stage for his voice to soar off of.
Kick me when I'm down, keep me on the ground. From the ones who I thought they would never leave, who gave you so much faith in me. I've been alive like it's the first time, but you're gone and you're gone and you're gone tonight.
Great vocal arrangements. Yep. And I'm not surprised.
I know you're writing me off. I know you're always gonna count me out. You think I'm gonna let you down. I know you're writing me off.
Man, those vocals sound great, and that upper octave is just classy.
Let you down. I know.
That is how it's done.
Oh, just the way.
Thanks, Pro Tools.
Kick me when I'm down, keep me on the ground. Kick me when I'm down, keep me on the ground.
You see what I mean? There's just a lot going on. I haven't even brought in the trap kick and the trap hats and all that. There's a lot going on that can get in the way of his voice, and his voice is the priority. Don't forget it. All right, let's hear what these other tracks sound like. Nice.
on the ground from the ones who I thought they would never leave. Who gave you so much faith? Who gave you so much power? You turned it all against me.
Again, not just is it that there's so many elements, but some of these elements sound so cool that you can make the mistake of getting carried away listening to them or turning them up too loud because they're cool to listen to and messing up the vocal. And just remember, at all times, Jonny Craig's vocal has got to be your priority. Don't get wooed by all this other cool stuff that's in here, like the piano. Or these trap hats. And, of course, we got swells and impacts as well. Everything you need to have a chart-topping production is provided for you here. And again, at the risk of sounding redundant, the challenge is going to be to get this all to work together and not drown out his vocal. But it's a great arrangement, so, you know, it's all laid out for you here. Good luck. Happy mixing. If you want this, just go to nailthemix.com/slaves. This is appearing on December 2018, Nail the Mix, with Erik Ron. I'm Eyal Levi, signing off. Happy mixing.